dead things here. I did a similar video last year on the box that rules them all. Okay, I'm going to power this up so you can see it in action. This is the system I use to control my witch scene. So to control Gretchen Weirding, Agatha Weirding, and missing from the picture is Brunswick Weirding. So the box, there's several components to the entire system. Of course, the witches themselves, which are both 3-axis heads. Gretchen has 3-axis eyes as well, and Agatha has a moving fingers in her hands. There is also Brunswick's broom. This is box that holds solenoids to lift the flying witch up into the air, and I changed those as well this year. We'll get more into that. And then the dimmer pack, and this is 12-volt relays which switch on and off these 120-volt plugs, and those have the spotlights for Agatha and Gretchen. So, without further ado, this is all Halstaff's Frankenstein controllers. This is a version that I asked him to add 2 header pins. One on the TX line of the tenderboard, or sorry, the RX line of the tenderboard, and one on the busy pin of the tenderboard. The busy pin tells you when an MP3 file is playing, and that becomes very important in the program. So I have 2 of them. I also have 2 boards. These were actually the main boards for the 3-axis last year. They just popped inside, but this year they are doing a different duty. This is controlling the moving hands, and this one was controlling the eyes. Now you see only the eyelids are working. Well, that's because I gutted the system from this last year, and for a couple of years now, and so I'm cleaning it up, getting some Metal Gear servos in there. When I built this, I really didn't know much about what I was doing, as you can tell. But you know, got a much more cleaner design. Used some epoxy on there to epoxy this to there, and I can still actually remove that. There, I left myself a access to the screw hole. So, anyways. So Halstaff was kind enough to build me this board. So this is a PCB version of the original project board that I built to control all these. And this guy here is the key to this whole system. Through the programming, and by switching on these, switching on and off, and monitoring the busy pin on these tender boards, which is very critical to this, you can basically create a show. These witches will do chants back and forth. It all depends on your imagination. So these guys, obviously, that's for Gertie. This one's for Agatha. This one is a thunder, and this one is cauldron, and that cauldron just keeps bubbling away despite what everything else is doing. It also controls this, the dimmer pack. So it switches the 5-volt relays on and off for here, depending on who it is, and you'll be able to see that when I fire this all up. And so why don't we fire it all up?
Happy Halloween, my pretties. We are the Weirding Sisters of the House Cemetery. Stand here now in this graveyard in answer to the treachery of Dr. Chad. who stole our magic to bring back his dead wife. We warned him of the dangers of the horror and the strife. He hardened his heart. He would not listen. And the evil inside him, it grew and it twisted. And now, like the clap of thunder.
No thunder there, but thunder's coming out of here.
The veil that separates the world has been torn asunder. And as the witching hour nears, the air is filled with the stench of fear. And now, by the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
So there you have it. I'm very excited for this project this year. Those of you who may have been following along notice I did not have any video last year. That's because my video camera cacked and we couldn't figure out the one that we got. We just ran out of time. I just frankly ran out of time with everything doing that walkthrough in the garage for the first time. So is what it is. But this year hopefully is going to be the year that I'll actually have some video of this scene. So you can see what I'm all talking about here. So in conclusion, the reason that I switched to this new system was that using project boards, I could never be confident that it wasn't some flaw in what I was using, whether it was a wire, a jumper wire that was actually cracked, or that there was a trace that had lifted off, or maybe the effects of the hot cold that can be the weather around here in October, hot during the day and then below freezing overnight, that temperature fluctuation had affected the project board. Going to a PCB, an etched board, I feel that's one less thing that I have to be concerned about. All I have to worry about now is components, and components don't usually fail unless there's a major reason for that. The second is that I really feel that these Frankenstein boards by Halstaff are absolutely brilliant. I so wish that something like this had been available when I first started dabbling in animatronics. It would have made it so much easier. And with this new design that he's come out with, where you don't even have to program it, have a programming cable to program the servo limits, it's even made more user-friendly. But the key for my system is the ability to have off-board access to the tenderboards. By doing that, I can determine what MP3 file plays at what time, hence which 3-axis skull, or in this case, which is talking at which time. And the code is really simple. It's just very repetitive, but it's a very simple code. So it really is the key, is that off-board access. And each tenderboard requires 2 pins to operate it. An in or out pin, which sends the signal to the tenderboard, and an in pin to listen for the busy signal, specifically when the busy signal is no longer busy. That meaning that the MP3 file has stopped or is done. That is the key. So as many pairs of in-out pins as your microcontroller or Picaxe has, that's as many tenderboards you can control. So on an 18M2, just using the B pins, you can control up to 4 tenderboards. Using the C pins on there, you can probably control 2 more. I use those alternate pins to control some of the lights. So and that's the thing with this system, is that you can start moving around and using one pickaxe to trigger another. That's what I do with Brunswick's broom. I just send a high signal to one of the pins, and as soon as that pickaxe gets that high signal, it starts running its program. So it's very, very simple to do these things. You just got to kind of know the language. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, by all means, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. And take care out there. Happy haunting.